Arpeggios are one of the most important resources for improvisers. If we want to outline a given harmony, there is no better choice to make it sound than playing arpeggios. Yes, we have scales too, but arpeggios, they go to the core of the music, allowing us to define harmony with just 3-4 notes. The problem comes when you try to connect one arpeggio with the next. And this is the topic of this video, how you can navigate chords without going crazy and sounding like a pro. So stay with me, because we are about to start today's lesson. If we are playing a G blues, the first step would be to play more than 1 octave arpeggios, something very easy. Once you have the first arpeggio, you need to start thinking on the second one. And it's not only a question of remember the fingerings for the new one, but actually the way you connect the first with the second one. What I do to improve my connection between arpeggios is isolating strings. In the first group, just the 2 lower strings, we have this. And if we are moving to the second chord, we need to resolve this note here to the root or to the flat 7. Right? Doing this, you have a minimal movement that helps you to define and outline the harmony, jumping from one chord to the next. After that, I would try to improvise some phrases, knowing where these notes are. Something very easy without complications, just flowing with the music. Well, maybe this is not the most amazing phrase in the history of music, but at least it helps me to navigate those 2 chords, just with a simple movement. If we are thinking on the 6th string, we have G, and the next note, of course, G is common for both the G7 and the C7, but we can move to the flat 7th, F, and after that, the E, the lower E, would be the 3rd in our C. Imagine a phrase like this. Or, if we don't want to use the root, we can move it to the flat 7 and having a phrase like this. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel, I'm just trying to hear both chords. This is one of the most important movements in the blues, moving from the 1 to the 4th, and even if you are not doing it in the second measure, you will need to do it on the second system. Let's check the next string group, the central strings, over G7. We would start on the flat 7, then we have the root, and then we have the 3rd. Only 3 notes. And if we change the chord and start playing C7, we will need to move our F to our E. Of course, we have the G as a common tone, and then the B natural needs to be resolved both to the C, the tonic, or to the flat 7. Let's try to improvise something with these 3 notes, changing on time. 1 measure of G7, 1 measure of C7. This is a simple blues statement. This is a simple blues statement. And I'm taking advantage of the common tone here before introducing the 3rd of the C7. Let's try more ideas. Yeah, it's a cool one based on repetition. When you are dealing with just 3-4 notes, little motifs will help you to take your blues to the next level. Don't be afraid of repetition, because repetition builds musical phrases and motifs in the ears of our listeners. Now we are on the next string group, the first 2 strings, and for the first chord we have 3rd, root, flat 7th, and 5th. And if we are playing and changing the chord to C7, we would have the third here, the root here, G as a common tone, and flat seventh. With this in mind, let's try to outline both chords. As you can see, with this minimalistic thinking, you can build a lot of language, and if you impose over yourself a little limitation, like for example, staying on just this string group, or this fingering, another fingering over the fretboard, you will achieve total freedom with very little elements. And that's one of the keys to play comfortable, to not feel a burnout in our brain trying to play complicated movements and so on. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.